My name is Michael Dufault. I'm from Westchester, Pennsylvania. I have a wife, Kristen Dufault, and 3 children.
Mike and I met about 6 years ago. We were married in 2013. So a year and a half in, or a year and 2 months in, we found out he had cancer.
New Year's Eve, I went back to the doctor, said, let's just get an MRI just to double check and rule out anything. And that was at 1 o'clock, and at 3 o'clock he called me back and said, you have cancer. And then on the 9th is when I finally got, the news that it was multiple myeloma.
All we could think of is, how are we going to tell our children?
My name's Andrea, and my husband had cancer. He was diagnosed almost a little over a year ago. He was diagnosed with cancer, and he passed away in 3 months. That's how quick it was. It was terrible.
I first found out around, I think it was like in the beginning of December. We were like setting up our Christmas tree, and we were waiting for tests to come back. He's been going through a bunch of tests, and the doctors couldn't find out what his sickness was and stuff. And then my mom told me that the doctors think it's cancer, around Christmas, and yeah, I didn't like hearing that at all.
He had a very aggressive form of thyroid cancer, so it moved so fast there was nothing they could do. So when he passed away, it was February.
Cancer affected my family in a negative way and a positive way. We grew stronger as a family, but also every day was more of a struggle to get through.
And they've been there for me throughout, from the very beginning, from when he was diagnosed with cancer all the way till now. That's what gets me through, is knowing that people care.
When I said goodbye to him, I made sure to tell him I loved him. I know he knew that, but he told me that he was really proud of who I was. And that he was proud of me and my brother, and that we shouldn't worry about him because he was going to worry about us. And I told him not to worry about us because we're fine. And yeah, it was really hard saying goodbye.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer in each breast at 30 years of age. The twins I had were 4 months old at the time, and I found a lump in one breast and didn't know what it was.
I was diagnosed at the age of 38 with triple positive breast cancer. When I heard those words, how am I going to tell my kids? When I called Kathy, I didn't even know who she was, but she was a true angel from the minute that I talked to her on the phone, and she just said, Monica, you need to be honest. If you are honest with your children, they will trust you. And if you get that trust in the beginning, they'll know that they can always believe in you. And then I did tell them, I was very honest, that they found cancer, and that, we're going to get through this as a family, and there's a lot of people that are going to help us. And Cuddle My Kids has been one of the most amazing organizations to help with our children, to keep their minds occupied and to make their life as normal as possible with their parent having cancer.
It's taken away having, like he said, having good times with your family, because when she's away getting better from it, we're at home feeling sad that she's not going to get through it.
I was diagnosed in February 2013 with breast cancer. At the time, I have 2 boys. At the time, they were 4 and 7. When I found out I had cancer, and my mind right away went to the boys, and that I needed to do everything I could to survive this and be there for them. The boys didn't know much about cancer. My older son, Nicholas, had more of an understanding, and right away, his thought was that I wasn't going to survive, and that's what he was worried about.
When I found out my mom had cancer, I was sad because it was the second time she got it, and I was a little worried that she would pass.
When my boys were 3 and 1, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I was only 32 years old at the time, so it wasn't anything that I thought would be possible. But that's kind of cancer in general. It kind of rocks everybody's world very unexpectedly, so my story is no different from anybody else's.
In my generation, women were not diagnosed with breast cancer the way they are today. The young moms today, there's so many young moms who are diagnosed with it. So it was really a surprise for me.
When I was home with my kids, it just was really hard to balance taking care of my kids and managing my cancer. Felt like I couldn't take care of my kids. I couldn't be the mom that I was before I had cancer.
After the initial diagnosis, she had several setbacks, but she always moved forward and she always had hope. And as a result of that, the good that came from it was Cuddle My Kids. So a lot of moms today are reaping some benefit as they go through this sad time.
I didn't want someone to come in and take care of my kids. I didn't want someone to come in and take care of me. I just wanted somebody to come in and help me help my family. Yeah, I just wanted them to not take over, but just to help me be what I needed to be to my family. And that's basically how Cuddle My Kids evolved.
Cuddle My Kids came into my life as soon as I was diagnosed, knowing that I had the 2 little ones, that there's a group out there that will come, and basically do just that and cuddle your kids. The twins were still so new to me that I was still trying to figure out how to cuddle them myself. It was just kind of this thing where I didn't know how to have somebody else come in and do really anything for me yet, because I didn't know what I needed help with. I have described them as being my Mary Poppins, because they literally walked in the door with toys and without really saying much to me, sat down and started a tea party, and the twins just fell in love with them right away.
Whatever it's like you're going through, and they like understand, because they just know like from the perspective that like you're not like you're feeling like a ton of different emotions, and they can really help you through it.
There was a huge box at our front door waiting, and it was all books about, mommy has cancer, and explaining to our children and reading books about how mommy's going to lose her hair. And it also gave us bags that they could come to appointments with us, and it had all kinds of arts and craft projects in there that they could bring with them and still be a part of my treatment, but have something to take their mind off of it.
When I think of cancer, the one word I think of is fight.
When I think of cancer, the one word I think of is shock.
When I think of cancer, I think of sadness. It hurts not just the person who's affected by it, but it reaches out to everyone around them.
When I think of cancer, the one word I can use to describe it is really just hell. It's hell on earth.
So cancer reminded me that I need to be hopeful for the future, because without that, I wouldn't be here today.
To me, cancer means hope, because you need hope to be able to live through it.